Hi guys, it's Scarlett Says, and welcome to my guest Judy Jewett. And today is like an extra special, Scarlett Says, because it's like a bonus. Because when I find somebody interesting to talk to and share her wisdom with you, I figured why not? So I always help women know what to wear, and Judy has her own few interesting ways to help you feel and look beautiful too. And Judy, I have to ask you this question. You were known as the world's best kept secret coach. So I got to ask, how can that be?
Well, because I was the world's best kept secret. Of course, I had to go in and, do a lot of my own self-work. As you work on the outer and the inner beauty, I work on the inner beauty to bring out the outer beauty. And I will tell you, it's been a job. It's like having a PhD in everything that you don't really want in life.
It's a lot of work. It's I can create a beautiful outfit for somebody, but if she's feeling, it complements each other. If she's not feeling very good about herself inside, I can make her look beautiful and I can make her feel beautiful in terms of the outfit, but that's it. But when somebody feels beautiful from the inside, which is what you do, and then they have the clothes that reflect who they are and how they feel, it's a magical combination.
It is. It's absolutely magical. It is completely magical. I know myself that if women or men, whoever is listening, can think of this, it's like you're on the sidelines and you want to get in there and play that big game. You want to be on stage. You want to be wherever it is, and you see that star up in the sky and you think, oh, that's me, and you want to do it, and then you have trouble doing it. So it doesn't matter how much you spend on clothes. Right? It doesn't really matter the point or what you've been trained in, how much money you've spent. In the end, it's how do you feel about yourself? And it's about claiming your bigger life.
Right.
And it is. And it's not reading affirmations. It's not listening to meditations. It's not about peeling an onion of, well, I'm going to get rid of this mindset. It's not. You've got to go deep. You've got to go to the soul. You've got to go to the core issues. And that's what I had to do. And so I was the world's best kept secret for many years. And I would appear and I would jump off the sidelines and I would do it again. And then it was like, oh no, so I finally said, no, this is it. I'm not doing this again. I will be where I want to be and I will do what I want to do.
So what I've noticed a lot about women is that not enough of them value themselves enough to do the work, to feel better and look better about themselves. And it can be all kinds of reasons, but I'm curious, like what, I know a lot of the reasons working with people, but I work in a different way than you do. So like, what do you see that people have that's holding them back?
It's an inner dialect. It's not even, it's like an undercurrent. It's an undercurrent that they're not even aware of. They don't understand why they don't feel like they're enough. They don't understand why they don't have all the confidence, why they're so worried about what everybody is saying about them or looking at them. They have no idea. It's such a deep inner knowing. It is just so deep is all I can say. You've got to be able to realize that that's not you. You have everything you need and want. Yeah. You really are the bigger life.
Yeah. One of my, I don't know if it's a pet peeve is the right expression, but one of the things that really bugs me is that a lot of women keep putting off doing things for themselves and caring for themselves. And I recently worked virtually with a woman who's 70 years old. And she said, I really, I've put it off all this time, but I really want to know what clothing works right for me and so that I look look good. I want to look good. I have a lot of life left in me. I want to look good. And I hear that a lot, but what she told me next really upset me. And she told me that not that long ago, a younger person, now that could be anybody, 60 and younger, but a younger person said to her not to bother trying to dress better, because she said nobody cares about how you look and what you're wearing. And I was like, she was upset by that, and I was really upset that somebody had the audacity to say that to her. But my point and my question is, like, do you find that a lot of people, they wait till they're older, till there's till there's less time to live, till they finally focus on themselves? Like, why do people put it off? Like, why put it off, I guess? Why?
Because it's called excuses. So let's imagine we have a jar, depending on how old you are, will determine how many excuses you have in that jar. And it can be very frightening to stand up, to show up, because of the human nature, worrying about what people are going to think, and how they're going to treat you, and are they going to like you, or are they going to see your wrinkles, are they going to see how heavy you are, how there's too much worrying about the things that are holding them back. Mm-hmm. For myself, I didn't feel like I was smart enough, I was big enough, being number 5 out of 7 children. You're not always heard, and no one always wants to hear what you have to say. And you think, really? Well, yeah, there's so many things that were programmed that we've experienced in life. Or how about a client of mine who worked as management in a firm of all men, and no one seemed to listen to her. And she was a boss, or would do what she wanted to do. We were able to trace it back to when she was 10 years old, and she remembers someone telling her to be quiet. What she had to say was not important. And you think that that's so minor. Well, yeah, it's not some big traumatic reason, but it was the core reason that held her back. And the fact she was 5'1", and a beautiful petite woman had nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
And then we were able to trace it back to other things. And that's the whole thing. Nobody knows where it began.
Right.
How that weed happened in the garden. No, nobody knows.
Yeah. So she might have been thinking that it's physically the reason why she's not being seen, but it really was because of the story she was telling herself.
It's all about stories of how we show up. Everybody can remember and everything that ever happened to them, and every bad thing that ever happened to them. Their perspective, it was bad. About and some people will say, well, I don't remember my childhood. And other people will say to me, well, and then they'll start telling me, going down the road, about how the mother did this, or the dad did this, or the aunt or uncle, or whoever it was, and this person bullied me, and this person did this or that. And the bottom line is, it's just a story. It's over with. It's done with. But yet we hold on to it like this is a value. This is why we can't do it. We're holding on to the pain, and we don't know how to let it go.
So if somebody comes to you and says, because there are many things in my childhood I don't remember. There's plenty that I do. But if somebody says, I don't remember my childhood, how do you do you ask questions to prompt the memories from coming?
Yes. So as a live bigger life coach, or the best kept secret, however you want to say it, I am an intuitive coach. I'm an intuitive healer. And so I have the extra edge, because I can look at a person and I can see where the energy blocks are, because it's all blocks. All it is energy. Everything is energy. And I can tell you what age, and I'll say, okay, well, what happened at this age? You may not remember a lot of things, but let me tell you, this is what I see. I'm seeing the story of something at this age. And I try to use that question for the client to tell me, because it's all about empowering them. It's not about me sitting there and reading a magic ball about your life. It's about giving you the tools and the skills to uncover it. And you will remember, you will end up remembering what it is.
Yeah. It's funny because yesterday I spoke to a very long time friend since 7th grade, and we don't speak often, but when we speak, we talk for a very long time. And yesterday I spoke to her for like the first time in a year. You know, I'm bad about that. And she reminded me of a time that we like snuck out and went to a concert and ended up hitchhiking, and all these, you know, all these things that one should never do when you're 16 or 15 years old. And I'd forgotten so much, but as soon as she started talking, I remembered, oh yeah, that bus ride. And I, you know, but it was gone. As far as I was concerned, it was all gone. But talking to her did.
It did. I had the same thing happen, but let me just throw in something else. And this may be, some people are they may shake their head. It's like, what is she talking about? But I know through 23 years of doing what I do, that this is another important component. And I'm going to give you a story of a client and you'll understand better. So this client came to me who was in her 70s and had cancer, breast cancer. And she ended up, the cancer was gone through, you know, her traditional means of getting rid of it. But she hired me to help her get to the emotional, spiritual reason why she had cancer. And so we were able to go through the marriage, you know, which would be typical, right? A divorce and all these things. And we finally got to, it was like, there was something else. We had to go deeper. And the night before, she did a breakthrough session. So we spent several hours together. And the night before, I started having these dreams, I call them visions, of these relatives of hers coming to visit me, telling me where we needed to go to heal what this was all about. Now think about it. Here she is. We've gone through all the obvious things, and we went deep. We went deep into her life and core issues. And so I appreciated the vision, the dreams of the ancestors. And so what came out, and I have a great testimony of her. She is an author. And we recorded it on film. But the bottom line was that it was an ancestral problem that happened from her grandparents at the turn of the 20th century. So it was early 1900s, that her grandfather had prized horses, raced prize horses, and had a barn of them. And the barn caught on fire and he lost everything. And her mother, so she said to me, why was my mother so sad? Well, her mother was 3 years old when it happened. And I just started seeing these things like it was a movie, like all these things that were happening. And it literally came out that was it, that core belief of ancestors who were devastated, were powerless, who felt hopeless. And even though they had to move away from the farm and they had to go into town, life was never the same. You know, it just isn't. And so then the mother grew up feeling this lack and this destitute and this powerless feeling and didn't know why. And then here, my client is in her early 70s and she just got to the core reason, one of the core reasons why she had cancer.
So it sounds like she was brought up in a family that was in constant mourning. Like,
that is true. I mean, that is absolutely true. And I wanted to tell you, I was in New York doing an expo, and I had several clients that were in the acting field, the acting community. And one of them, we were talking, and no, this one wasn't in the acting, but I did see several clients. And one of the clients I had, grandparents and parents were in the Holocaust. And he was in his 60s, and he was reminded every day what happened to his ancestors and his parents. And what was showing up were family members getting cancer. And being that I'm an intuitive, I was able to help in that situation put the correlation together. And even this guy, I mean, here he is in his mid-60s and never got married, had such mourning his whole life about something that happened to his ancestors, which is extremely painful.
Right.
But that's just another example of ancestral things, of why we have to heal it. We remember it, and here he was told every day of his life, you need to grieve. Every day of your life, you need to know what happened and remembered what happened to your parents and your grandparents.
Right.
And I remember him crying, it was and this was after listening to it for 65 years. Or 60, I think he was 65 at the time. Yeah. I mean, exactly what happened.
Yeah. That's incredibly unhealthy. Understandable, but incredibly unhealthy.
Because you don't know how to get rid of it. You don't know what to do.
Right.
And it doesn't really matter.
Right.
I'm not giving a discredit to what the trauma was. Believe me, I have all the respect in the world. And I do not judge people for what's happened to them. But I look at, okay, you've had this happen to you, then it could be abuse. I've helped people with a lot of things, to become the world's best secret. I mean, is that because, I've helped people with their sexual identity, of trying to be comfortable with the choices that they want to make or they made.
Right.
It doesn't matter. It's all related. So what is it you need to do to get to the core? And it's not going to be peeling an onion. I don't have time to peel an onion. I had to peel an onion, and I don't have any more time to waste on peeling an onion. This is not what we need to do in 2021.
When you have a person identify what the block is or the big issue is that's affecting their whole life, and isn't it like once you know it, then you can let it go? I mean,
yes. This is the part that's the illusion. Pain has happened to us somewhere along, whether we remember it or not. And usually you will, when you work with me, something. You don't have to remember the core thing, but you will remember the feeling.
mm-hmm.
It is that illusion, like, oh my God, you're going to take that away. And now it's going to hurt. No, the pain, your memories is what's hurting you. Yeah. It's over. It's done with. Yeah. If you can just realize to do this, and I walk people through this beautiful process that God has given me, that is beautiful and gentle and powerful and strong. And very quickly, you're able to go into your cells, literally into your DNA, into your cells, and you let it go.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then it's like a ricket. So what it is, you get to the core and all this other stuff just starts falling away.
Yeah. Oh, this is great. Judy, I know you've been very kind and you're offering people an opportunity to speak with you. I'm going to put a link into the chat. And if you want to tell anybody about that, because I think you can take advantage of this and talk to Judy and find out we all have it. We all have something that's like affecting us every single day. So
we do. And I do have, today or tomorrow, I will have my new site going up. So I'm going to give everybody the link that they can go ahead and sign up for a 30-minute complimentary session. And it is, and I'll go in and tell you 3 core issues. But the thing is, I have an energy assessment. And once you sign up, I will email you either a business energy assessment for your business, or I'll do it for your private life. And it is to help break through whatever area you need to. And then I'll have you take the energy assessment, and then we'll climb on to a third, we'll schedule that. You'll go ahead and schedule, and then we'll go in to a 30-minute session. Right. And so, I have like 10 slots, and it's valued at, just for 30 minutes, $165 that I'm gifting you. Any of your friends I will gift them.
I really appreciate that, and I hope that people take advantage of this, because why not? I mean, I know from my past, years and years ago, there was something that was really, I was so haunted by something, and when someone identified what it was that was haunting me, it stopped. It just stopped.
It goes away.
Amazing.
It goes away.
But
It goes away.
I always say knowledge is power, right?
You know, it is. It is. The website is www.timewithjudy.com. Timewithjudy.com.
And I put it in the chat, and I will remind people to take advantage of this. I want to thank you, Judy. This was
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, guys. If you're not watching it live and you do it on the replay, try to grab a spot before they're gone. But I know that Judy will honor people who are watching the replay. So
yes, absolutely.
All right, everybody. Thank you, Judy.
Thank you.
Bye.